Hey there, welcome to SharkCast, part of a podcast dedicated to the greatest sporting club in the history of the world, the mighty Cronulla Sharks. My name is Sam Chanel, the OG 2015, 11 straight seasons of podcasting. I feel like Luke Douglas here, just never missing a game, and I love it. Or Blake Brayley catching up. I'm here with the greatest journalist in the world. Now, I called you this the other week, and you thought I was sucking up to you, but I'm not. You're the greatest journalist in the world. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Dave Riccio. You know him from shows such as NRL 360, the Daily Telegraph podcast, and of course, Daily Telegraph and Sunday Telegraph writing. And you probably see him around the Shire, local Shire resident, if I can disclose that. Dave, how are you, my friend?
Going well, Sammy. Quite an introduction, as always, my friend. Or as always.
Finals week, probably a 2-year tradition now, getting on before the finals.
Yep.
Could be more, I'm not sure. But you're here on the eve, so to speak, of the monumental clash. The Roosters are coming to town. They don't want to come to town. We'll get to that. And first off, how are you, my friend?
Yeah,
what's going on?
Going good, Sam. It's a hectic time of year, as is footy season. It just keeps on rolling. There's a lot of news being consumed by readers and certainly fans of teams inside the finals, and they want to know every little heartbeat of their team. They want to know what's going on, and certainly I've noticed that certainly this week with the Sharks. Started the week in the headlines, and it's just been ever since for Cronulla. But it's across the board. It's such an intense time. And I've got to say, Sammy, a lot of players are battered and bruised at this point in time. It is a war of attrition in this game, and there's plenty of news around. There is plenty of news around the health of players and suspensions, etc.
The good thing for the Roosters is when they get their bus here, they can pull right up to the stadium.
Yeah.
There's no issue there about walking too far.
Yeah, well, I think that comes down to the relationship between the Roosters and Sharks as far as management and coaches are concerned. They've got a decent relationship. Yep. And I think you're referring to the story I wrote in the Telegraph in relation to the Raiders and Broncos and Ricky and Madge. That's not as tight as Fitzy and Robbo. So, yeah, no, they'll pull up right out the front in front of the Hall of Fame.
Yes. So when they walk out, they're going to see Miller and Rogers and the whole lot of them, and that'll put the fear of God into them.
Yep.
And of course, as SharkCast fans, if you see the Roosters walking in, you're free to yell out non-rude things like "We're going to get you," "We like Woolooware better than Bondi," etc. But you're here, Dave, to talk about all things Cronulla Sharks. Massive week for the club. Let's start with depth and how well the club is going as teams go. All the major teams made the finals.
Sorry. Yeah, as far as pathways are concerned, yeah, they certainly did. That doesn't surprise me, Sam. This is a rugby league nursery in the Shire, and don't quote me, but statistically up there with Penrith as far as their ability to provide rugby league high performance and pathways and development for junior players. And that's always been Cronulla's strength. There have been certainly times when the Sharks have gone away from their own backyard, and there'd be many fans out there still today saying that we still don't drill enough into their own backyard. So, but it's certainly a rich nursery of talent. And as you said, it's shown by the pathways and the lower tier teams progressing to the finals. Sam, I say this to a lot of people. What the Sharks achieve in playing finals football year on year is nothing short of extraordinary. When you think about the big clubs, and I'm talking about the Broncos, and I'm talking about the Roosters, I'm talking about the Melbourne Storm, the Penrith Panthers, what they have at their disposal as far as outside salary cap and third-party arrangements to entice the elite of the elite is completely disproportionate to what the Sharks have at their disposal. Certainly they have key and influential people supporting the club, which allows them to sign the current roster that they've got. But Cronulla don't have it anything near the top tier clubs. And I said this last year when the Broncos were just terrible. if I worked at Brisbane, if I worked at the Broncos, and I looked down in Sydney at this with great respect, small, minnow, shire club making finals and making a prelim last year, I would be shaking my head going, what are we doing? Are we kidding ourselves? And that's where I give so much credence to Cronulla. And I think for Sharks fans, at the end of the day, win or loss, I think you need to have a realisation that you've got a team playing finals footy. And I know Sharks fans deliberate and dissect and debate every decision that's made as far as selection and how they could have won this game or won that game, where they could have finished higher. But at the end of the day, to have a team in the finals year on year is a win, is a success. It's a genuine pass mark by a country mile. And again, I say it again, I think it's huge what this club is able to achieve, given their resources and given the roster that they have. No Origin players. So not one.
Does that come down to coach, people like Gallen on the board now, influential people like that, even Mooney? Is that what it comes down to?
It's all of club. It's all of club. You think about the individuals inside those four walls of the Sharks. They're tight knit. They're on the same vision plan. But at the same time, and I say this across the board, across the NRL, you are what your head coach wants you to be. And I think you take the Bulldogs, for example, just extending Cameron Ciraldo out until 2030. Ricky Stewart, he is the Raiders. They are Ricky Stewart, the Raiders. And this is where the Titans have struggled. They don't know who they are. They churn through coaches. Newcastle are in the exact same boat. And I think, and I've said, I would say this about the Flanagan era too at the Sharks. The team reflected Flanagan. And right now, everything starts with Fitzgibbon and what he's empowering this club with. And I think he deserves huge raps in relation to what they're achieving.
How have you seen the season so far? Obviously, we're a long way into it. We could be a game away from the end. We could be 4 games away, hopefully. How do you look at it? How do you grade it? What do you like? What were you disappointed by? Give me a bit of an overall feeling on Sharks 2025 so far.
Yeah, there's been missed opportunities. There's absolutely been missed opportunities. I mean, this is a team that could be sitting second at the end of the season had they not dropped games in the final few minutes against the West Tigers, Raiders and Broncos. You think about 6 points, as tight as that top 4 was, and that's a team that could have finished in the top 2. And if you're a Sharks fan, had you pinched those 3 games, I'm wondering if you're sitting here going, well, and we're sitting second. Are you still viewing the season as a good season when ultimately there have been some inconsistent performances? I thought the Dragons' performance was super poor.
Yeah.
And then, you've got some great performances like last week against the Dogs. So there's been some inconsistencies. But what I will say is I think something has to be said about your ability to prepare for the season. And what I mean by that is the Sharks made the prelim last year. The Raiders didn't. Raiders were able to start their preseason much earlier than what the Sharks were because the Sharks were still playing. And certainly I'm not throwing shade on the Raiders or anything. I'm just trying to point out I think preparation time is key. So the Sharks went longer last year, but then had to come back earlier due to the fact that they will get off to Vegas and starting the season 1 week earlier. And I think if you reflect on, I don't know about you, but I'm fatigued for how long this season is.
Yeah.
The current season, it's so long. So if you think about when it started for the Sharks and where they are now, I do believe they've done a big job getting to this point in time, coupled with the fact of how much travel they did early in the season. I think the back end of the draw, Sammy, has favoured them very well.
And do you think the timing now, because we're 7 from the past 8, we're coming off our best game all year, is that accidental, circumstantial, or is that just what you're saying? You know what? We started late, finished early. We finished late, started early. And this is the natural conclusion of where we are?
No. There was a turning point moment in this season.
Uh-huh.
And it was the Brisbane Broncos.
Yep. Up by 18-20 with 15-20 to go.
Absolutely. Yep. And the Sharks collapsed.
Yep.
And I think it was a defining moment for this team when, you know, that I cover them like no other journo in the city.
You're the beat guy.
And when I went down on the Tuesday after the Broncos loss to interview some players and talk to the coaching staff, there was without doubt a major shift in the way they were speaking. Early that morning, behind closed doors, the coaches sat down the players and gave them some brutal, honest truths via video up on the screen in relation to that Broncos performance. And they highlighted individuals as far as their attitude and effort when, as you said, Sammy, leading by 18 to 20 points. And it was a case of questioning their attitude and not their character, but their desire on how serious they are in being a professional athlete. And they all walked out to a man knowing that they deserved everything that was said inside that room. Ronaldo Militalo has since come out and said, I felt like I was letting down my dad as far as Craig Fitzgibbon is concerned. And I think it was the next week they went down to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Right? And Melbourne still got the better of them on the scoreboard by a margin in the end. But from memory, it was with 20 minutes remaining, it was tight.
Yeah.
And, you know, Sharks fans would have looked at the scoreline and gone, oh, well, here we go. We're on a slippery slope. Just got pumped by the Storm. But inside those walls, that performance was already a major shift in where they wanted to get to this point in time.
I remember our mutual colleague, Greg Alexander, saying, has Fitzy gone off too early here? Because the talk was well reported. And he said, and many people thought it, well, if we don't turn around against Melbourne now, that's it.
Yeah.
But as you said, there was enough signs there to show that the talk had worked. And since then, it's been happy days.
I don't agree with Brandy there, because I can understand where he's coming from. Yeah. What he's suggesting is when you roast your team, and if they don't respond, well, that's a suggestion you've lost the dressing room.
Yeah.
See, I see none of that.
No.
I see a group of players that are completely tight with their coach.
Yeah.
And it was a case of the coach squaring them up to get, like as Ronaldo said, as a father would to his son.
Yeah.
Wanting more out of them and knowing what they're capable of and seeing that they're not reaching their capabilities is what Fitzgibbon was trying to get out of them. And they're way too consistent under his coaching to fall away is what I see.
So I say this in the pod most weeks, especially after a loss and people blow up, and that's fine. That's what they're there for. But, we don't go on losing streaks under Fitzgibbon. It's 2-3 games, win. Like, there's not in the history of his time at the club. And the other thing I do say to everyone is that there's a real relationship between the players and the coach. There's no divide.
No.
There's no getting cranky, I'm better than this, I'm better than you. And that's been proven in the past 2 months, because he did the
honesty session,
however you want to call it, and it was received exactly how it was supposed to be. No players kicked up a fuss, not one of them, because we interviewed them that day, and none of them kind of went, oh, he was too hard, or
none of them.
They were all.
And as a journo, I can sniff that out a mile away.
Yeah,
I can sniff a disgruntled player, get stuffed coach. He's clueless. They start knifing their coach. They want to tell the journo that this bloke's clueless.
Yeah,
they want to start spinning the narrative that it's not us, it's him. I've done this for 25 years. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
And to your point, Teague Wilton was one of those players interviewed on that day, and Teague's a man's man, and he just went, absolutely, we needed it. You know, so I got no sense of that whatsoever.
Yeah, so that was the turning point, and I think it also shows you what a great coach he is. You and I think he's a great coach. Others disagree. That's fine, but other coaches would have handled that differently, I think, even in their delivery of the honesty session. So, great turning point. It's been a great 2 months. What do you reckon happened against the Dragons?
Well, that was a stinker. Yeah, from a Cronulla point of view. I don't know.
It's one of those days.
No, and hey, Saints did well that day.
Yeah.
Saints were good that day. But Cronulla's attention to detail, as far as completion rates and errors, they were looking for the shortest way to the try line.
Yeah,
is what I felt, and that's cutting corners. So, yeah, again, put it down to a long season. Put it down to waiting for finals. The beauty of it is they were able to correct it really quickly. It didn't linger, and they corrected it the following week.
And the Dragons probably had a lot to play for that day. Not suggesting we didn't, but that's how that one went down. It's the one blemish in the 2 months. People talk about the Souths game. I've got no issue with the Souths game. We came up against a team that just wanted to defend the hell out of their line, and our attack wasn't exactly humming.
South have shown that all year.
Yeah,
South have got a character. They've got a spirit about them. There's so many games when I sit and analyse Cronulla. I honestly, you take the two and move on.
Yes,
I'm not interested in why they didn't score 50 points against this team.
Yeah,
like go and ask me in your 2016 season what the score was in round 18 that year.
Well, we beat the Parramatta Eels. We're down 18-0.
You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, of course.
It's about how you
a lot of our listeners are into me about we didn't win by this amount. We better win. And I'm like, no. Just get the 2 points.
Yeah.
And whatever else is a bonus.
Yeah. It's about how you get how you get there, and how healthy you are.
Let's talk a little bit about recruitment and that kind of thing before we hit the big match. We've seen a number of signings in the past week or so. The great Blake Brayley long-term, which is massive for us, and KL almost as important. To a smaller degree, Stone Street's re-signed, which is great. Some younger fellas, one of the younger centers is signed on.
Gabriel.
Yeah, and the other fellow that played for Queensland, his name escapes me. There's a bunch of young centers we've got. Firing.
Yeah.
So,
Preston Lane Setu.
That's the one. So talk to us about that, Dave. Is that just great timing leading into the finals? Is that when this thing normally happens every year? Like what's the timing there?
Yeah, there is similar timing each year, but I will say this, I think contracts are getting done later than ever because of the soon arrival of the Perth Bears and then PNG. And so what player managers and the players are doing, they're testing the market to see what's out there, probably later in their current season than before, knowing that the new clubs are coming and just whetting the appetite of the new clubs and rival clubs, and also how many years they want to sign for. So, I know Stone Street met with the Dragons. I don't know what the Dragons, or if the Dragons ended up putting an offer to him.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam's only signed for 1 year with the Sharks. Is that strategy to be back on the market for the Perth Bears? It may well be. I'm not 100% sure on that.
At least leave your options open.
Leave your option open, and I think that's the case. I think, Sam, what we're seeing from Cronulla in these re-signings is certainly future-proofing with the younger fellas. But I honestly feel as though there'll be a roster shift in coming next season and the year after.
I spoke to Will Kennedy the other day, and he's still off contract. He hasn't signed a deal. He's hopeful. Sticking around. He's not sure when that'll get done. Do you think there is pressure from a Liam Eisen, for example, to hold his spot next year if we just get specific about Will for a sec?
Liam Myson putting pressure on Will is what you're asking. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yep.
Absolutely no doubt. There's a lot of high hopes for Liam. And everything I've seen of him in the lower grades and playing for Penrith in some big games as far as grand finals are concerned, he looks a pretty special player. He's a different player to Will Kennedy. He plays, he's got footwork as far as bounce, step, speed. He likes to be never beaten, if that makes sense. He may look beaten in a tackle and suddenly pops out and he's looking for an offload. So
he was almost cloned to be Dylan Edwards, right?
Yeah, there were those claims, and I mean they're huge claims.
Well, just in that style of you never tackle.
Yeah.
He's also got 1 try assist to his name, I think.
Yeah.
In the NRL.
I think he did well on his debut in that Cowboys performance for Cronulla. He had some good moments, and no doubt, he is putting pressure on Will. And I think it's absolutely the reason you would have seen some speculation around Chevy Stewart and the Sharks. There's no way in the world the Sharks were signing Chevy Stewart when they've already got Liam Myson.
Yes, that's a great point.
So that won't be happening.
So do you think, let's play hypotheticals, if Will signs for a year or 2, whatever it is, would you think it's going to be a shootout between those two over summer, or is it more Wills to lose?
I think it'll be a shootout.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I do. I think it will be. I think if Will ends up staying, there's no doubt he wants to stay.
Yeah.
It will be for just a 1-year deal. He does have some interest from the English Super League. He doesn't want to go there yet. He's about to have a second young bub. But I think it's a wise move from Cronulla to hold on to him if they can. Yeah. For 1 year to help this transition.
And he could also be a Perth Bear or a Papua New Guinea.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Will's going to get a job. That's fine. Now, how far off do you think guys like you can separate them if you want or group them? Felix Fartilli, O'Reilly Pollard, guys we've seen play flag, also play cup. Do you think they're 2 seasons away? Do you think they're 1 season away? Like, are we going to see any of these guys end of next year? Do you think there's any hope there, or are they still got a lot of growth? Because they're exceptional players, a whole bunch of them. I've just named 2, but
I think 2 seasons is probably fair for those 2 fellas.
Yeah.
Felix has been in the training with the top 30 squad for about 18 months now. Like they've had high hopes for Felix for some time. That's very young to be in that environment, learning.
Yeah.
So there's definitely high hopes on him. Riley looks at talent as well. I think he'll just keep progressing through Cup for a period and be that next in line with Nephi Peru.
Yeah, he's re-signed as well, I believe.
I think
Nephi re-signed?
Not as yet, no.
Okay, you think he will? I'm not sure.
The Sharks are pretty tight on their salary cap.
Yeah.
There needs to be some movement for be a player that's already on contract, let go early, to free up some cash.
Okay. Now, how do you see our squad moving forward? I mean, we're close to top 4 every year. When we don't win the big prize, certainly our audience and a lot of the fan base wants change.
Yeah.
I personally don't need a lot of change because we're so close. I think it's close enough, you're good enough. Do you see much? You mentioned in a couple of years there might be a turnover, or you said something like that.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So what I firmly believe that I think fullback will be a change. I think, be it. I'm not saying in round 1, but at some point next year there'll be a change at fullback. I'm assuming Will's going to stay. Okay. But I think Ison will be putting enough pressure on. So I think that in the spine, the emergence of the absolute class of Blake Brayley has changed Cronulla to the point of which you don't need to see massive amounts of change.
Gotcha.
Because he's progressing to an elite level.
And it's changed our game.
And it's changed the Sharks.
Yeah.
It's taking pressure off Hines and Trindle. I still want to see further development from Trindle.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely key. I think what's interesting, Sam, is if what was the situation? So Trindle was out with a ankle injury against the Dogs. Against the Dogs. Now, Atkinson went into that game with a hip issue.
Yes.
And if Atkinson wasn't available, Nephi Peru was going to get his start.
Mm-hmm.
Such is the confidence and progression and development and belief in him.
It's a good year.
Right? So it would have been Nephi Peru and Hines in the halves, which indicates, now, as we know, unfortunately, Nephi tore his pec and was unavailable for that game. That's a firm indication to me that Nephi's a lot closer than what people think.
Okay.
That Craig Fitzgibbon was prepared to hand Peru his debut, knowing, Sam, that he had to name that team on Tuesday and did not know whether it was a top 4 game or not a top 4 game. So it could have been a monster game to get landed with a young kid on debut. I think that's an indication of how much belief they have in him. So I think there's pressure from Peru coming in.
On Trindle?
On the halves, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think Brayley's progression has changed the Sharks. I think Adam Fanua-Blake, remembering 12 months ago, he was bought to shift the Sharks in the front row, and I think he's had a wow of a season. So I don't see much change in the pack. And maybe the other change comes out wide in the space of a Michael Gabriel, who's pressuring hard to play some NRL.
And Jesse Ramian, one more year of contract, I believe.
Right? He's contracted next season. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So people can talk to him
from this November 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how that process unfolds for Cronulla. Yeah. With Chris Viola, Michael Gabriel, as we mentioned earlier, Lane, Preston Setu.
Nakora Williams. I know he's not immediate.
Yeah, Nakora Williams. So there's a lot of young guys coming through. It will be interesting to see how they handle the Ramian negotiations.
Interesting. Now, as we talk, the rain comes down in the Shire, and that leads me to our home stadium. Let's hope it doesn't flood and we can still play there. I know our Bondi listeners are a little bit worried about that. What's your take on the stadium, Dave? What do you love and adore Sharks Stadium?
I'm a suburban ground guy.
Now, we know it's not a perfect stadium, but do you think a lot of the criticism is warranted? Do you think it's a bit over the top? Where do you stand?
No, there's absolutely no doubt. Shark Park needs a refurb.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where it sits currently is far below standards of what should be expected of an elite sporting outfit. To my earlier point, my introduction point, a team that's playing finals football all year, a team that is the heartbeat of the Shire, a team that creates a nursery of talent that bleeds into the rest of the NRL. So many Sharks juniors are playing for other clubs. This is a sporting mecca, the Shire. And I'm not just talking about rugby league.
Yeah.
So some of the biggest soccer clubs in the Southern Hemisphere in the Shire. And so
don't start talking about Lily Pill on this podcast.
It's a center of excellence within itself, the Shire.
Gotcha.
And absolutely, it needs a refurb and update. But I think if you take suburban games away from, you start to kill the communities.
Yeah.
I think you kill the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see a lot of the fuss that's been going on online between journos, between fans.
Yeah.
Is that a tad over top? Are people just a bit annoyed they have to, like, for example, Roosters fans and other fans of other teams jumping on that bandwagon? Are they just annoyed they have to come here? Like, why are they so upset?
Because they're talking about an inferior stadium to what they've got.
But so what? Why is that such a bugbear for them? When I go to Allianz, I don't sit there and go, this is everything I desire in life. I don't jump online and go, you guys are just the kings of rugby league. I just go and enjoy it.
Yeah, look, I do agree with the fact that the game needs to be bigger than closing the gates at 13,500 for a semi. Okay, so, but under the current rules, that's the rules. You get the host in week 1 of the finals.
Do you reckon they're going to change it? There's speculation they'll change it.
I think at this point, I think that's lip service at the time where it's a hot topic.
Gotcha.
I think it helps. Ultimately, as negative as it sounds, putting a spotlight with some media scrutiny on this situation actually, in some weird way, may increase the likelihood of financial support for a refurb at Shark Park.
So we've kicked out Mace and Dino and Gallen, and you're in charge, which is almost the truth. The second part. What are you doing to upgrade? How are you getting the upgrade? What are you doing?
Oh, Sammy.
Come on.
Right.
Big questions, big.
Well, again, I show how influential, not just the Sharks, not Shark Park, what Shark Park could be for a sporting community, a mini city, of which the Sutherland Shire is, and show government officials of how beneficial it is for the public and the population in the Shire to have a elite sporting facility in the Shire. Look, seriously, go across the Shire and show me an elite sporting facility of which exists. And then show me how many Olympians we've produced. Like, it's out of control. How there's some works going on at Seymour Shore. Yeah. Barden Ridge was set up and it's just playing fields. I think they've missed the boat completely out at Green Hills. That could have been a sporting academy and facilities for hockey. You think about what's down at Ganamatta Bay, what it could be for water polo. Yeah. What the I think it's the Cronulla Stingrays, maybe. Yeah.
Baseball.
No. Sorry, I was talking about the water polo. Water polo produces so many Olympians from the Shire. Like, this is a heartbeat for success, and to see such an antiquated ground dying, that's not good enough.
All right, we're not going to be dying on Saturday. No one's going to be dying. I touch wood as I say that, especially our team. We're going to get up and get the W. Let's talk about the Roosters coming to town. It's a big task. We're 1-1 this year with them. They're 1-1 with us, obviously. And the last game we played against them was one of our best in recent memory at Shark Stadium. They've named a pretty stacked team. I love the forward battle between the two teams. Yep. We've named Billy Burns to start. Britt's on an extended bench at the moment. How are you feeling? What are you liking? What are you worried about? Give us a bit of goss on the.
I think it's going to be an epic contest. Excuse me. I think it'll be tight. Yeah, it'll be tight through the coaches because styles make fights, and these two coaches know each other better than any other two coaches in the game. Yeah. Given how long Fitzy was with Robbo, and they know every little nuance. That what Robbo would know exactly the communication and vocabulary Fitzy would be using on the Sharks, and Fitzy would know exactly what Robbo is saying to the Roosters. So I think that makes for a classic clash. I think if Cronulla play anywhere near the standard of which they played the Bulldogs, they win. Yeah, that was the best performance by Cronulla this year of elite completion rates. No,
could you believe it? I was just watching it go up and up and up, and then when it gets to when it's in the high 80s and he's like 20 to go, you're like, that's a great performance. Yeah. And then you look at the end, and it's like 90. Is it 94.3?
Yeah, extraordinary. No, it was, and I thought the Sharks bench, if there is an advantage,
couple of weeks now, Dave.
Yeah, if there's an advantage, that's where it's at. It's the Sharks bench. They're bringing so much punch at the moment, and the Roosters bench are super promising players, but they're not at the standard of experience of which the Cronulla bench is. So if Cronulla can see off the starting front row of the Roosters of Lindsay Collins and Navahu White and Big Spencer.
Do you think that's how they'll start?
The Roosters?
Yeah.
They may switch it. They may go Lenu off the bench to bring some punch.
Yeah.
But Collins is a starter. Navahu's a starter. So it'll be interesting.
Radley, Crichton, it's a pretty good back.
Yeah, it's a good team. They're a good team. There's no one. I have them completely underachieving this year. Like scraping into eighth. I think that's a fail.
Yeah.
From the Roosters.
You're not getting roasted on this show for saying that, Dave.
No. Yeah. Bravey boy gave it to me for that. But I firmly believe that's an elite roster. And I always talk about origin players.
Yeah.
And when I talk about origin players, I'm talking about players that have played in the most intense environment and had experience in it to then use it to their advantage when the finals come. And Cronulla have had hardly any of that.
Yeah.
Now Cam McInnes is sidelined. It's basically Nico. And from the Roosters' point of view, it's locked and loaded as far as origin experience is concerned. Sammy, I ended up watching the most recent clash between these two teams the other night, just to refresh my memory as far as reporting on this game. And it had plenty in it for both teams to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Roosters were pretty loose as far as errors were concerned.
They can do that.
Remembering that Hugo Savala in the halves didn't play, Chad Townsend did.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing too was Cronulla had some key outs on that night. Chris Vaiella made his NRL debut.
Right centre.
He did.
Right centre, left centre.
Right centre. Yep. Sipatalakai was also in the centres at the time. So no Ramian, no Iro. So there's two changes. In the match, Britton Nakora comes from the field, ruled out with a HIA after collecting Navahu White's hip.
Yeah.
So the Sharks lose their starting back rower. Billy Burns comes into the contest. And they're changes that we're going to see. There was also no Tom Hazelton available at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of changes from the team that the Sharks put out to beat the Roosters this time around, and I think they're better changes.
Given how creative the outside backs up for the Roosters, that could be a massive difference this time in improving us. More respect to Sifa and to Chris.
There's one area that's going to come down. It's going to come down in the match that you're going to be sitting up in the ET stand.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Let's go.
And you're going to be screaming, right? Because they're going to the video ref and the bunker because Jesse Ramian has changed his line on a Roosters kick chase as Daniel Tupou is climbing through the air to put the ball down.
Or you can insert KL and
absolutely
Marky Mark going up. So.
Marky Mark, right? So the Sharks know exactly where the Roosters are going, and there will be this moment, and the Sharks did it so well last week against the Dogs. Absolutely. They need to find a way to do it again.
It was a fine line.
It's always a very fine line.
It is. It's
always a super fine line. And to be fair, there's some howlers that the refs miss, but there's ones where I don't even know how you could have called that. I don't know how you call that. I don't know how it's millimeters of movement.
Yeah.
Whether it's a penalty or not a penalty.
At the ball, it moves up.
Yeah. So the outside backs of the Sharks on kick protection, it's paramount.
So it's improved a bit in the past month or two, Dave, but for most of the year we've had the worst kick defense.
Yeah, right.
Leading to try.
Yeah. So it's Sione.
Although still have Canberra and they're top of the table.
It's Sione on Tupou.
Yes.
Which is a height advantage on Tupou. That's how they scored it in that most recent match. Sam Walker chipped to Tupou and he just climbed over Kato and put the ball down.
Central Coast first two tries.
Yes.
Although that was
Malwini and Horodi.
Malwini, yes.
Yep. And so I honestly believe
I
think it's so significant.
So aside from them having good kick defense, my theory is keep them out of our yard.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So you got to win the battle through the middle of the field and not allow them to get in those positions. They're going to get their chances, but you've got to limit the chances.
Yes. Okay.
Huge.
I like our forward pack that's been named, Dave, because Jesse Colquhoun brings a monstrous size at lock forward. And that counters...
He's the teacher's pet.
He's the teacher's pet.
Yeah.
And that counters a bit like you on this show. With all of our guys.
Yeah.
Here comes Riccio.
Yeah, okay.
That counters the Roosters size, because they're a very big pack, very aggressive pack. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, I'm going to get... But then I thought, Jesse's the back. That's right. He's great. Toby's been named to start. He's a great size, in good form. We know about Fanua Blake. Billy Burns has been named to start. We'll wait and see on that one. But should he start, good size, aggressive. He brings such an aggression.
There's something about Billy Burns. Something's always just happening around him. And he's been outstanding. When you actually consider that the Dragons let him go.
Yes.
I think that's a huge tick for the Sharks coaching staff. As I'll just scroll through something here on my phone. I'm looking for. I'll tell you the listeners something in a sec. In 2018, Billy Burns was named in the New South Wales under-20 squad. New South Wales under-20 squad in 2018.
Wow.
It included Ryan Pappenhausen. It included Billy Smith from the Roosters. It included Brian To'o, Kyle Flanagan, Oregon Kafusi, Reece Robson, Josh Curran from the Dogs. Interestingly, in the starting back row was Billy Burns, New South Wales under-20s 2018 team. Off the bench was Teague Wilton.
Hey.
So
nice.
On that, as a kid coming through, Billy, there was a lot of promise in Billy. He was at the Penrith Panthers, and I only had to list those names to show you that he was in an elite category.
Yeah.
And to the point of which he did a good enough job to keep Teague Wilton out of the team, or to keep him on the bench. And then was let go by the Panthers. Anthony Griffin was at the Dragons. Previously at the Panthers, knew about Billy and asked for Billy mid-season. He got a mid-season swap with a Dragons player and picked him up.
And he's got more chance of playing at Dragons
at that time. And just never had some moments, but just never played with any consistency. Fitzy had a chat with him. They put him in a pre-season train and trial, and by February they signed him to a one-year deal. So impressive was his training.
Yeah.
I think he's made every post a winner. As I said, I think something just happens around him. He's a big boy. He's got good strength. And if I think there's an assumption from Sharks fans that Britain Nakor is just coming into this starting back row. I'm not convinced.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about why it wouldn't, pros and cons.
Oh, look, why it would is because Britain Nakor is an elite back row, is a test back row. Who runs the best line in the NRL. And it's his jumper. It's long been his jumper. And Fitzy gets panned a lot for not making big calls on his teams and not making changes. I think if you're gonna do something this week, I think it's a case of sticking with Billy Burns, as massive as that sounds.
It's very unlike Fitzy to kind of do the mind game thing in public. As in, name a player, then drop him for no reason, just to do it. Like name it on Tuesday, and then he's like, "What?" That's unlike.
So name Britain at 19, you mean? Or?
I'm saying in the case of Billy Burns being named as a starter, there's got to be a reason other than just mind games. With
sure.
That's not really his style. At least it's the public. In a public persona. Behind closed doors.
I can look. Hey, I said what I said. But I can also absolutely see why Britain Nakor runs out in the back row. So
let's talk about why Billy Burns would.
For everything I said, where's he put a foot wrong? Where's he put a foot wrong? There might be an element of Britt having not played in some time now.
Good point.
This is a final. This is a semi-final of high intensity.
Did he have an injury sometime before the suspension?
Yes, he may have actually. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, because I feel like Billy's been in and out a bit.
Yeah, he's had some big moments. There's no doubt he's had some big moments this year, but
I'm wondering now. You got me thinking. You said the word fitness. I'm wondering about the fitness.
Well, there was a bye involved, and there was the suspension.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's played that many games in the past. 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, gotcha. Billy Burns, I've said this on the show recently, if people are under the impression that Billy's just like when I say a fringe player, a guy that kind of is in the background at training and not like, he is very much part of the crew from a playing point of view, from a social point of view, from a mateship point of view. Like, he's become quite integral.
Oh, yeah.
And I only realised that when I interviewed him the other week.
He's a park spaceman.
He is.
So they're good people out there.
They are. And I interviewed him the day the motocross came to town.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah.
Guy came in, wheelies, and I was blown away by Billy's just persona and kind of infectious in that kind of country way, laid back way. But yeah, he's the real deal. So it's going to be fascinating to see. We'll find out. I imagine 24 hours.
Not a bad situation to be in, is it? As a head coach,
not at all.
Like, you don't want to get to this point in time and be scratching dirt.
What did you make of
player?
What did you make of Oregon's comeback? It was only brief last week. What did you make of him?
Yeah, pretty solid. Yeah, no, nothing outstanding, nothing ordinary. And I think
he shores up that middle pretty good.
Yeah, I like him. I really do. I think there's upside in Oregon. I think people underestimate how young he is and what he achieved at a young age. Firstly, at Parramatta, I think he had to wear the bruises a fair bit before Adden came in the seasons prior. And I think Adden has been a huge benefit to him. I love when he plays second phase and makes the right option with an offload. He brings a new dimension to the attack. I like him, and if he's with one run under his belt, I like him.
What have you made of Hamlin Willie since he came back? Because I've noticed he's very direct in how he's playing. I said to him in an interview yesterday or the day before that he's not thinking so much about what he's doing. He's just playing hard. And that's a vast improvement to what he was doing before. And he admitted that as well. He knew that. What have you made of him the past sort of 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, terrific. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. He's kept it simple. He's had purpose about what he's doing. There's that genuine purpose in his carries, in his defence. He knows he's in the shop window. He's aware of that. He wants to be at the club, but at the same time, I don't think he'll get a contract extension beyond next season. And I've already fielded calls from rival clubs asking about what his situation is. So he's going well.
And we need all 18 guys to dominate. Like, it sounds like a cliche, but like, if you play against this Roosters team and one of you guys is like vastly off, it's not going to be a happy result. Dan Atkinson, before we let you go, Dan Atkinson played very injured last week. I don't think people realised how injured he was. Do you want to elaborate on that?
It was a hip injury picked up in New South Wales Cup game the week before the Bulldogs match. Didn't train at all in the early part of the week last week and got through a couple of the lighter sessions at the back end of the week. And again, he just showed that when you drop him in there, he just does a job, doesn't he? He keeps it really simple, kicks well, passes well, supports well. He's one of the good guys too, Sam.
He is.
He's played for Italy too, Sam. So that makes all the difference.
He's a brother. He's a young brother too. Not very old.
No. He's
the ball at his feet.
For all intents and purposes, the Sharks wanted to keep him.
Yeah,
but they simply could not compete.
No, Flano came around with his checkbook.
Yeah. Well, he's a good pickup for Flano.
He's only a half in my eyes. He could maybe play fullback, but off the bench, I don't think that's what we need. We've discussed this on the show every week. And it's nothing against him. It's just when he comes on in that position, it's like catch, pass. Last week, dominated, kicked, set up tries, scored tries. So fantastic. Really good guy to have in the back. Dave, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. You're a busy dude. You're going to be on NRL 360 tonight. You can be read in the Telegraph and Sunday Telegraph. And give us your Instagram, because that's going quite well.
Is it?
Give us your work one, not your personal one, where you just put up pictures of your cousin's restaurant. Give your cousin's restaurant a shout out.
At Boca Boca Carrying Bar.
Yeah.
It goes very, very good. Very good. Get in there.
That's
mention my name when you go, and he'll ask for Sam. Ask for Sam and mention my name.
Sam, the guy, It's under newish management because it had that name for a long time.
Yes,
But
that's
your guys
right.
took over about a year ago.
Spot on. Yep, my cousin took over a year ago. Boca at Caringbah.
So if you haven't been, just say that you're a fan of Riccio and you might get some extra toppings or something.
All the latest news at David_Riccio1 at David_Riccio1 on Insta.
You're doing a lot more video.
Give us a follow.
Cool.
Give us a follow.
Give them a follow and doing more video, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's good fun. Yep.
All right.
All the latest Sharkies news.
All right. Thanks, Dave. We'll see you down at Shark Stadium. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And we will talk to you soon, no doubt. Up, Cronulla. Let's go.